Hello, so tribe. You are all welcome to my channel. My name is Divine. Thank you for coming back. For those who have subscribed to this channel, thank you all for subscribing. Alright, so tribe, you are welcome back to Cut and Sew Tribe YouTube channel. Thank you all for subscribing to this channel, and if today is your first time of checking on this channel, you are welcome. Please kindly click the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel for more interesting tutorials. So today we are going to start a very unique series. This series we call it Beginners Booster Class in our Facebook group. So this is a series that is going to help you to understand pattern drafting very well. So I'll be taking you through how to take accurate body measurements, how to draft your basic bodies for both half scale and full scale, and I'm going to take you through how you can draft your basic sleeve. So if you would love to see this tutorial from the beginning to the end, just sit down quietly and take notes as we go in this class. So the first thing we'll be doing today is body measurement. You know, when it comes to drafting or cutting of your fabric, you need to take accurate body measurement because it is what you measure that you are going to cut. So you must understand how to take your measurements so that you are going to achieve your desired result. So I'll be using my mannequin as a model. I'm going to show you how you can take your half scale measurement, full scale measurement, your skirting measurement, and your trouser measurement. So as you can see on this mannequin, I have tied rope. These two ropes, they have what they are doing there, and when you want to take your measurements, they are very, very important. So this part, this green part is your front length. So this is your front length. Now this is very important. I need to tell you, your front length and back length, they are not supposed to be the same. I'm going to show you as we go along in the measurement. So this is your front length, the waist area, and this is going to be your upper hip measurement. How do you locate the exact point on yourself or your client to know your front length? You just look for your belly button, your navel, just measure 2 inches above your belly button and tie the rope. And for the upper hip area, this measurement, this upper hip area is what you'll be using for your full scale bodies. That is, if you want to draft pattern for a blouse, a shirt, and this part, this green part, is what you'll be using for your half scale bodies. Now for your full scale bodies, how do you locate the exact point on your actual hip measurement? This is how you know your hip measurements. Just think a bit. The fullest part of your hip, that part that comes out, is your hip, your actual hip measurement. So on it, you just go up by 2 inches to know your upper hip measurement. So that is that for this. So the first thing I will be doing now is I will go on and take all the vertical measurements. When I am measuring lengthwise, from the shoulder tip downward, it is called vertical measurement. And when I am going measuring the roundness, it is called horizontal measurement or circumference. So you take note of those terms so that when we are drafting, I may use them interchangeably, you understand them better. Lengthwise is vertical measurement. When I'm measuring the roundness, it is horizontal or circumference. So take note of those terms. Now the first thing, we are going to go on our vertical measurement, and now I'm going to start. When you want to measure your vertical measurement, you will start from the tip of your neck. The tip of your neck, this higher part. Now you place your tape measure there and you go on. This is your bust point, your nipple point, where you have the fullest part of your bust. It is your nipple point. So whatever it is, you measure it. On my mannequin, it is 10 inches. So after this one, the next thing is your under bust. This under bust is very good when you want to draft for your bustier, your corset, or what have you. So under bust is very, very important. Now to get your under bust, locate the bra your client must put on bra, and the bra must be firm. So you locate the end of the bra, that is where your under bust is going to be. So on my mannequin it is 13.5, and the next thing to measure is the waist, the front length. Now on my mannequin the front length is 18 inches. Now I measure the back length. You know I told you that the front length and the back length are not the same. So to measure your back length, you place your measurements, your tape measure on the tip of your neck as well, and you measure it. Can you see it? We have 3 inches as the difference. So please note, whatever the difference is, you're going to take note of it. Yours could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4. It depends on the body shape you are dealing with. The essence of this front length and back length is that it's going to help you to eliminate back bulge. You know, a situation whereby you sew your dress or your blouse and the zipper pop out like this. So if you master this, the difference between the front length and back length is going to take care of that. So on my mannequin, the difference is 3. Whatever yours is, you take note of it. So we are taking that of half length, front length. So we go on and measure our hip length. So on my mannequin, the hip length is 26 inches. So take note of it. Now the next length, the next vertical measurement I want to take is, and this is applicable when you want to, maybe you want to sew your gown or dress. So you are going to measure from shoulder. Now from shoulder, the measurement is going to be from shoulder downward, shoulder to your knee length. Now it could be on your actual knee length if it is dress, or it could be 3 inches above your knee length if it is gown length, as in full gown length that is going to be man-made, or 6 pieces dress. So you come up by 3 inches from the actual knee length. But if it is straight dress, short gown, it will stop on the actual knee length. So after the knee length, you can just go ahead and measure your full length, your desired length. It could be on your ankle or floor length, whatever you desire as your length. So we are done with vertical measurements like this for gown, short gown and long gown. Now let's go ahead and measure the horizontal measurement. So the first one I want to measure now is the shoulder measurement. So look at it. This is how you're going to place your tape measure. Can you see it? From one shoulder bone to another, and that's going to be your shoulder measurement. You are going to locate it on your client, one shoulder bone to another. Now after this, you can just go ahead and measure your bust, the circumference of your bust. So this is how to go about it. Can you see it? You don't want to measure it too loose nor too tight. How do you determine that? At least your 2 fingers should be able to penetrate. Can you see it? I'm putting my 2 fingers inside. So that is for bust, and for the under bust as well, you apply the same principle. At least your 2 fingers should be able to enter. And for the waist, you do the same thing. Can you see it? And for the circumference of the hip, you do the same thing. Do you get it? Another measurement that you may want to take when you are drafting bustier is your nipple to nipple. We call it bust span. From one nipple point to another nipple point, you just measure it, whatever it is. Now when it comes to skirt, maybe you want to measure for your skirt, you will need to ask your client where she's putting her skirt band. If it is high waist, it's going to be from the front length, just the way I am tying the rope like this. This is okay for high waist. So you are going to measure from that place to the fullest part of the hip, and that's going to be the hip length for the skirt. Now for this one now, measuring for high waist, the hip length is 9 inches. So on that 9 inches, you measure the hip circumference as well. But if it is not high waist, that means this is going to come down a little bit. If it is on natural waist, it will come down a little bit, or you ask your client where she's putting her band. So from that point, you just measure the skirt hip. Do you get it now? Whatever it is, like now it is 7 inches, the high waist is 9 inches, this one is 7 inches, and you go ahead and measure the circumference. So for the length, if it is high waist, you start from wherever the band will start from, and you measure it to your desired length. If it is short skirt, it's going to be on the knee, and if it is long skirt, that means you are going to measure it to the floor. Now if it is long skirt, your knee measurement should be 3 inches above the actual knee length, and so from this place is where you are going to shape your skirt out. So that is that about the skirt. The next thing you may want to measure on your skirt is a band, and that band, you make sure you measure it firmly. Now let me quickly show us how we can take our trouser measurement. So your trouser measurement as well, your trouser could be high waist or it could be on natural waist. So if it is high waist, the same thing. From this place, you measure down and measure your hip length. Do you get it? And if it is natural waist, you bring it down to wherever the band is going to rest, and you measure the hip measurement. Now after that, whatever it is, wherever it is, either high waist or natural waist, you measure the band. Now another important measurement you need to take on your trouser is the thigh measurement. Now how do you take your thigh measurement? This is how to place your tape rule. Do you see it now? You make sure you bring it up to the fullest part of the hip. This is how to take your thigh measurement. You don't want to measure it like this. It is not correct. It's going to be too tight for this part of the thigh. So you place your tape measure like this, and you measure it up to the fullest part of the hip. And the next thing you want to measure from band to knee measurement. Wherever you want the knee to be, you measure it, and you measure the roundness, whatever you want it to be. Maybe you want it to be fitted, or you want it to be a bit loose. Maybe you are drafting palazzo or what have you, and you just go ahead and measure the ankle. I need to demonstrate how to take this ankle measurement with my leg. This is how you do it on your clients. You make sure it can enter the leg of your client. Do you get it? And we are done. Now for the crush, let me quickly show you. There are different methods you can use to determine your crush depth. You can either measure your inseam, this part of your trouser. This part is what we call inseam. You can measure whatever your inseam length is, and measure whatever your outer seam length is. So of course, inseam used to be shorter than that of the outer seam. So whatever the length is, you just subtract it. The difference between the outer seam and inseam is going to be your crush depth. Or you can use this formula. If it is on normal waist, you can just use your hip measurement divided by 4. But if it is high waist, you can use your hip measurement divided by 3, and that's going to give you your crush depth. So like this, we have come to the end of the measurement. The next thing you may want to measure is your sleeve length. My mannequin does not have sleeve. That one is very simple. Where your shoulder ends, that's where you're going to start your sleeve measurement. You just measure it down to your desired length. If it is 3/4, you stop somewhere around 8 to 9 inches. You measure the length, and you also measure the roundness. If it is 3/4, you measure the length, and you also measure the roundness. So if it is long sleeve, you measure the length, and you also measure the roundness. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. So if you find this tutorial helpful, kindly give us thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more interesting tutorial, and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload new video. So in our next class, I'll be showing you how we can draft our full scale basic bodies. Don't go away. Bye.